It should be hard to trust those with a vested interest. It should be, but a lot of the times it's really not. A lot like in politics, right? People hear the same thing and just regurgitate it over and over again, whatever they're told, even if it's from those with a vested interest, right? And I feel like in sports, we do the exact same thing. We just regurgitate information, even if it comes from those with a vested interest. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And let's just hop right into it. Welcome to Take What You Can. I'm excited. This is episode 2. For any of you who are watching, thank you so much. Don't forget to follow me, Gridiron Architect on most social media, Gridiron Architect Football on Twitch. Today we're going to be talking about Dan Orlovsky and Ty Simpson and Mike Evans, Brandin Ayiuk, Aaron Rodgers versus Will Howard. There's a lot of different topics to go through today. And honestly, I'm really excited. Let's just hop right in. So the first thing I want to focus on is, okay, so we've got Dan Orlovsky has been in the news because he's like, all right, Ty Simpson might be QB1, right? That's so hard for me to believe, and we're going to go over that more today. But like I said, it's hard to trust those with a vested interest. I'm going to beat the dead horse here, but this is mainly what I'm talking about, right? So I'm not going to go full conspiracy theorist on this, but for the most part, NFL Network, NFL media, those kind of guys, they're just relaying information. They're a mouthpiece for the GMs, and that's totally fine. That's what we need most of the time, right? But when it comes to points in the season like the draft, that's where it can get a little tricky. They even joke about it, right? They say, oh, I don't know if this is a smoke screen. I don't know if I'm just being told this to create a distraction for another team, right? So that's where I think we should really focus on, how can we create our own opinions, right? And that's really what this is going to be about. I want to try to give people, the platform to say what they want to say, and also the platform to learn things, right? And think for yourself, right? Take what you can from any situation. So really, let's get into this. Like I said, the draft, that's mainly where we see this. The smoke screens, like I said, they joke about it. If you're focusing a lot on, the NFL and the NFL media, you'll see them joke about that kind of thing. But some examples, right? Laramie Tunsil, right? I know that was a little less of a smoke screen, but that was more someone trying to go and slander him. But another one that comes to mind is CJ Stroud, right? Remember, I forgot what the test was called, but they questioned his ability to take this specific test. Was it the Wonderlic test? I don't even know if it was the Wonderlic test, but man, yeah, they throw things out there, and sometimes teams do it just so the guy that they want drops, right? They're making him lose millions of dollars just so they can get him, right? And I think that's just not what we want to do, right? As a fan base of the NFL and of our teams, we want to be educated and we want to know what's going on, right? So that's what we're going to focus on again a little more today. The thing that made me bring this up, well, actually, another example would be Daniel Jones, right? So not only, like we talked about the smoke screens, but another aspect of using the NFL media as a mouthpiece to kind of convince their fans to think a certain way, right, is Daniel Jones. That's another example. So Daniel Jones, when he was drafted, I believe he was drafted 6th overall to the Giants. Not a lot of people viewed him as a first-round pick. That wasn't really anybody's plan, seemingly. But you could see, reports in the media, NFL media, Daniel Jones might be a first-round pick. Washington's really into Daniel Jones, blah, 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 blah. And you can tell that it's teams trying to sell to their team, or it's teams trying to sell to their fan base this player, right? Even though they know they're going to get a lot of backlash. So that's why it's important for us to be educated, because I believe the more the fan bases, the more the fan bases are educated, the more we, these teams make better decisions, and we have better NFL teams, and we hold NFL owners accountable, because we're not going to get them to sell the team. All they care about is ticket sales, at least most of them. So that reminds me of what we've seen today, right? So today I'm looking at the video with Dan Orlovsky. I posted something about it on TikTok. I'm just saying Dan Orlovsky said that Ty Simpson might be QB1, or some consider him QB1, blah, 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 blah. I highly disagree with this. You don't have to agree with me, but I highly disagree with this. Orlovsky, I'm sorry. And then someone commented, they said Orlovsky is employed by ESPN, owned by Disney. Mendoza, super Christian, Jesus Christ first. Orlovsky is not allowed to choose Mendoza. Orlovsky is a simp. I think that's kind of a crazy take from Nola Saints fan. And then someone said Worry RD2We, Orlovsky and Simpson are represented by the same agency. That's where I thought it was interesting. Now, I don't know if that's true, right? This is just my reaction to their comment. But again, all of these things, people are starting to see, who knows, right? Like, how much of this does it have to do with their vested interest, right? So Orlovsky is saying that, he might be considered QB1 to some of these people, right? So let's talk about just my opinion on this. Let's talk about Dan Orlovsky and Ty Simpson, or just Ty Simpson in general, right? So this is what we're going to look at. So this is my player profile for Ty Simpson, right? So he's 23 years old, out of the University of Alabama. He's 6'2", 208. So he's not some like crazy physical freak or anything like that. At throw power, I got him a 6 out of 10. Decision making, 7 out of 10. Mechanics, 6 out of 10. Ball placement, 6 out of 10. Running, 7 out of 10. Right? So I'm just gonna read this off for you, to those who are just listening, not watching the video. So my analysis was, with Simpson, you're going to see a lot of inability to play outside of structure. He's akin to a Brock Purdy's and the Mac Jones of the world. He does have some running ability, but it's mainly straight line speed, as opposed to being able to make defenders miss. He struggles to throw off platform, and his ball placement is not great when he does not have a perfect pocket. He does make pretty good decisions, but occasionally opts for a throw on the run that his skill set makes him unable to throw accurately, putting the ball in harm's way. On comeback routes and out routes, the ball tends to float in, and just a little bit too long. He is not a starter in my eyes at the moment, but he could definitely be a good backup. He needs to improve on his decision making. From there, he could maybe turn into a starter with great supporting cast around him. And I know, decision making was one of his higher, skill sets, but when you're someone like Ty Simpson, your physical skill set is not gonna be what gets you, to the next level. And that's where you go into evaluating a college football player and evaluating an NFL player. And I'm sure, as many of you know, in the NFL, a lot of offensive lines are just not good. They're just not. That's the reality of the situation. So quarterbacks, as a Vikings fan, Kirk Cousins, I was used to him for a while, could not make plays outside of the structure of the play. And there's a cap to that, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, right? He doesn't need to make Mahomes level plays, Lamar Jackson level plays. He does not need to do that. But also at the same time, he's just not going to be that guy. So even though decision making is one of his better qualities, what's going to set him apart is turning into an elite decision maker, right? He does have good speed, right? That's a good thing. Brock Purdy's, to his point, or, giving him, I can't even think of the word, giving him his flowers, right? He can actually make people miss and play a little more outside of the structure of the play. But he does kind of remind me of that Brock Purdy, Mac Jones kind of role. So just some historical context. He's definitely better than the Dylan Gabriels of the world. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was taken in the third round by a team with an injury-prone quarterback. I wrote this before this report came out. I'm not surprised that many people have him on top of their boards, but it's mainly because he's the quarterback of Alabama. Yeah, I wrote this. I can't believe I wrote this as far back as I did. However, I don't think he is better than Mac Jones or Bryce Young. I totally still agree with that. Time will tell, because if he doesn't prove it, will have to be through mechanics and the mental part of the game. Yeah, exactly. I agree with myself, believe it or not. But no, past self, I definitely agree is the right move. San Francisco, Miami, and Houston are the best moves. You know, that West Coast zone run scheme, timing, gonna focus on the heavily on the run game. You know, that's really gonna be where Ty Simpson can shine. So I'm already concerned about Fernando Mendoza becoming that guy, first overall pick, and especially if like the Cardinals take Ty Simpson, oh my gosh. Excuse me, it's gonna be really rough, guys. I have him as an early fourth round grade. Again, to me, I personally don't believe in second round quarterbacks. You'll hear that from me a lot. I don't think it's really worth taking a quarterback in the second round. If you're willing to take him in the second round, take him in the first for the fifth year option. The amount of money that you pay quarterbacks is just insane. So it makes more sense to skip the second round to me. Third round is kind of like hopes of being a starter, has some like really good tools. I thought Cam Ward was a third round pick. You can disagree with me. That's kind of where I had him. Fourth round and beyond is just kind of backup, career backup. And then fourth through seventh is kind of like, what are the odds of them becoming a starter, right? He's 23, which is kind of older. And I'm pretty sure he only started 1 year at 23 years old. So that is also a little concerning. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on Ty Simpson. So again, this is how much of a shift. I'm not saying like what I'm saying is complete reality and truth and the gospel truth, but from my opinion and my perspective is like, this is how far, reality is from, what Dan Orlovsky is saying, right? And this is the difference between reality, right? And this is what a team might be trying to sell you. Like, oh yeah, Ty Simpson, second quarterback, top 5 pick. It's like, no, we're not even close to that. Not even close. So I would just keep an eye on this. I think any team that's willing to take Ty Simpson in the first round probably just loves his personality, loves his work ethic, and is desperate for a quarterback and wants to sell jerseys and tickets. And I think it's just a mixture of all of it. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. Next, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be reacting to some TikToks that I had, more so the comments that you guys left on said TikToks. So let's pull up the Brandin Ayiuk one. So like usual, this is surprising. What ends up like becoming a little more popular. Now I'm not some TikToker with 1 million followers, so it's not like I have 2,000 comments on everything I do. But yeah, this one had a surprising amount of comments, more than typical. So let's watch this video and then react to what you guys have to say. Sorry, let me make sure my stream's good here.
Niners reportedly want to trade Brandin Ayiuk. What is the value you think you could get for him?
So yeah, 49ers obviously want to trade Brandin Aiyuk. That's been kind of the main thing for a while here with the 49ers. There's a lot going on. Just seems like the relationship is kind of fractured here. But let's start from the top, right? Okay, so a bag of chips, the small ones you put in your kid's lunch. Ouch. Jeez. Nobody's going to take on that contract. He would have had to been released, and then a team might give a 1 year prove it deal. That's fair. I drafted him in Dynasty last year late, hoping he gets moved. Yeah, this is still Brandin Aiyuk that we're talking about. He's not a bad player. 4th round at best, 3rd round pick. I don't know if you're getting either of those with, the Vikings. I don't know if they've tried, but they can't give up Jordan Addison for a 2nd round pick. Nobody is trading a third for him. They'll be lucky to get a 6th rounder for him. Nope. There's one more here. You're right. 2 first-round picks. That's crazy. You guys, Swisher Sweets. Oh, my gosh. Okay, some of y'all are straight up disrespectful. 3rd, maybe 4th, probably a bag of peanuts and a bottle of water. Oof, you guys are rough. Raw peanuts. 4th or 5th round, and then you can't see it as well. Like a 6 or a 7, 2nd round pick, someone said. That's crazy. Bag of peanuts. So we're seeing a lot of bag of peanuts. I think that's just disrespectful. I think that's probably 49ers fans being upset with where he's at. But I don't know. I think that's straight disrespectful, man. Okay, let's think about what would I realistically give up for Brandin Ayiuk. Now let's look at Brandin Ayuk's contract real quick. Just gonna look at over the cap here. 120 million over 4 years. Oh my gosh. Let's just pull up over the cap quick. Oh my gosh. Over the cap. Okay, 49ers. Close. Where is he here? Brandin Ayiuk. Okay. So, oof. Oh, we're going into 2026. Oh my gosh. So the majority of his money does not even hit until... Yikes. I didn't realize he was only... What? He's going to be 28? I mean, that's still relatively young. Okay, realistically, what am I trading for this contract? I think I'm doing a late round pick swap. I think, because that's basically what they did for Michael Pittman. And prime Brandin Aiyuk is better than prime Michael Pittman. But there's the injury. It's really not. I mean, it's a good amount of money, but in today's wide receiver market, that's not even top level money anymore. So I would do like a late round sixth or 7th round pick swap. I think that's pretty solid. And you're not paying him until 2027. And if you fit your cap right, it might work out. And if you extend him, I mean, you're probably not extending him. But if I'm a team like the Raiders, why not? Right? You have all that cap space. Now, will you have that cap space in 2 years? I don't know. Or you might be a contending team trying to add him at a low base salary for the first year and then kind of go from there and maybe cut him. Or you have enough money to pay him. That might be the move. But yeah, that's interesting to see. So next, we got Mike Evans here. Mike Evans is the next, another surprising one. All the main ones that were the most, commented and interacted with are always the most surprising ones. I know everyone who does like streaming or content always says that, but it's so true. It's never the one that you work the hardest on and you do your best on. It's always the one where it's so easy. You're not even thinking twice about it. And then all of a sudden it just goes off. So, all right, let's watch this. Excuse me.
GM said that Mike Evans took the Buccaneers GM said that Mike Evans took less money to go to the 49ers. Do you think it was the right move?
You always got to love that basket in the corner, huh? I got to dude, that's been back there since like Christmas. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is the Bucs GM said he was willing to take less money to go to the 49ers. That's crazy. And you might think, oh, he just wants to win a ring, but I almost forgot because that was my first thought. He already won a ring. So why? Why not stay? Because, he wants a chance at another one. I don't know. Or maybe he's kind of seeing the writing on the wall with Emeka Egbuka, right? That might be it. He might want to not lower his snaps. He's probably going for more career records. But forget about my opinion. Let's talk about these guys. 49ers about to win a ring, Ty said. Mike Evans wants a Super Bowl ring. He ain't gonna get one with the Bucks. I'm a Niners fan, but he got a ring with the Bucks in 2020. Great point. Forgot about that, but he wants another one. That's kind of what I went through. Oops, knocking stuff over. That's kind of the thought process that I went through. So from mid to mid is that's why this video started to get traction. 21 replies. Holy moly. From mid to mid, dude. That's crazy. Wow. Dude, they're just like arguing about what is better. It is kind of mid to mid. It is a little bit of mid to mid. Mike wants to win. This is a good point right here. Todd or Kyle? Todd or Kyle, that's what truly matters in the correct question. Totally agree. Totally agree with that. That honestly might be the last part. Because when Mike Evans won the ring with the Bucks, it was with Bruce Arians, not Todd Bowles, at least as the head coach. The idea of Kyle scheming for a legit number one is why he came here. I mean, yes, but Mike Evans he's not the same guy he used to be. He might even just get hurt. He honestly might. If he wants to still be wide receiver one, then yeah, Bucks must have told him he'd get less targets this year. Kind of what I was thinking too, right? I totally agree. Totally agree. Better head coach, better quarterback, higher ceiling. Definitely made the right move. Quarterback? A better quarterback? Is Brock Purdy better than Baker Mayfield? That's a good question. I'm not sure that he is. I don't know if I would say that. I honestly don't know if I would say that Baker Mayfield, or I'm sorry, Brock Purdy's better than Baker Mayfield. I don't know. Let's ask ChatGPT. Literally my whole life. Okay. Who do you think is a better quarterback? Baker Mayfield or Brock Purdy? It's a really good debate. Win in different ways. There's a single right answer. Okay, play style. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, I kind of agree with this. So what ChatGPT says is Purdy is the better clean quarterback, right? And Mayfield is the better independent quarterback. Great way to put it, ChatGPT. You're my co-host, ChatGPT. We're co-hosts in this. No. I totally think that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback individually than Brock Purdy, and I don't even think it's close. I think, but okay, if Baker Mayfield was in the 49ers system, he would have a Super Bowl by now. If he was with Kyle Shanahan his whole career with the 49ers, he'd have a Super Bowl by now. Totally. Book it. Book it. He would have a Super Bowl. You put Brock Purdy with the Bucks this year, they ain't going anywhere, man. I'm sorry, they're just not. So I don't want to hear it. I definitely don't want to hear it. I think, okay, kind of backtracking. Was this the right decision? Here are the two options that I'm weighing. So if I'm Mike Evans, these are the options I'm weighing. I already broke the Bucks receiving records, right? Tied Jerry Rice. Do I take less snaps, less of a role to stay with the team that I won a Super Bowl with my whole career? Or do I, with more money, or do I take less money, get more chances to play, win another Super Bowl on a different team? I think if it were me personally, I think I'd rather stay with the team. I think I'd rather stay with the Bucks for the loyalty aspect of it. That's what I would rather do. I think it's the better move. I think when you look at it longevity-wise, like you're going to look back and say, oh, I stayed with that team my whole career. I think anytime you go for it, and it's not even, I guess it's not for just the money, but I don't know, man. It's like, how old is Mike Evans now? I think he's at least 34. Oh, no, he's 32. Okay. Okay, that changes things a little bit. That does change things a little bit. Okay, if I'm 32, maybe. Maybe. You want to play out the rest of your career. You already won a Super Bowl. You stayed with the team for a long time. I think I'm like, now that I found out he's 32, I honestly thought he was 34. Being that he's 32, how long was his contract? Mike Evans' contract. 3-year, 40. Yeah, he's going to be 35. Then he can retire with the Bucks. Yeah. I would say 50, my opinion would be 55% 49ers, 45% Bucks. I think he made the right move. Very solid move. Okay, next one. This one's interesting. Also got a decent amount of traction with what you guys had to say. Yeah, I mean, Brandin Ayiuk, Mike Evans, you know, those weren't the biggest stories of the offseason, and this isn't either, but people are still talking about it. People are still interested in it. So let's talk about it. Let's watch quick.
If you were the Steelers GM, would you go with Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard with the new coaching staff and offseason additions?
So this says, Robert said, I would go with Rodgers simply so Howard can learn under him for another year, and then Will Howard start in year 3. I'm going Howard. He needs reps if he's the future. Rodgers retires, joins McCarthy's coaching staff. Start Howard. Aaron Rodgers is never going to coach. I'm sorry. He's never going to be an NFL coach. New times in Pittsburgh. Give the young kid the keys. Howard. Will Howard is only talked about because he hasn't played. So there's this idea that a 6th-round QB is amazing because there's no proof he isn't. That's a really good point. That is a really good point. Well, I watched him in college. That boy can play. He literally won a national championship. There's plenty of guys who have won a national championship that couldn't play in the NFL. And yeah, people can use the argument that the Ohio State team was loaded. Yeah, NFL talent. Yeah, that's why he went in the 6th round. There's some truth to both, but I mean, there's a lot of guys who have won the national championship that couldn't play in the NFL. Both and see who wins in training camp. Aaron Rodgers is not going to. If Aaron Rodgers got benched, he's just going to retire. You really think he cares that much? I don't know. Going into offseason, my personal choices, this was March 21st. Malik Willis, Kyler, Will Howard, only plus Mason, plus drafted item. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, Mason. Rodgers, obviously. I like Howard. He was a stud in college, and he's huge. Even with his size, he's pretty fast. Will Howard for sure. Rodgers should retire. See, I think with the coach that you hired, you're just gonna have to take him, right? You're just gonna have to take Aaron Rodgers back, because that's the only. I don't understand why they signed Mike McCarthy. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. I think they want to win now and win fast. That would be the only explanation. So you need a high floor, low ceiling coach. He's just so like how old is Mike McCarthy? I always got to add that slash, don't I? He's 62. Is Mike Tomlin even that old? No. Like, you're a franchise known for having coaches that for a long period of time, and you go with a 62-year-old? My only thought process, and this is what I'm trying to think out. My only thought process with this is that he decided, or I'm sorry, the Steelers management and ownership decided, okay, Aaron is going to be our best shot, and maybe Will Howard for the short term or like long term is our best shot at winning the Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy is, and I'm just saying this is what their thinking is. This isn't even what necessarily my opinion is. I'm trying to put myself in their point of view. Is that let me put myself in their shoes. Like, Mike McCarthy is the best high floor coach available right now. There's not going to be any time for development. It's just we're going to win within the next window or we're not. And we tell Mike McCarthy, like, this is your last shot. You're going to try to win a Super Bowl. And if you don't, you're not staying around. And then we'll go back to the development, kind of younger head coach. That can be the only reason why I think they would even do that. So the logical answer is obviously Aaron Rodgers. You have to go with Aaron Rodgers. But I also think that if I were to hit the reset button on the beginning of this offseason, I would have never hired Mike McCarthy. And that's where I would have went with Will Howard just to see. And the only reason I say, because I somewhat agree with, I very much agree with Xenon. Will Howard is only talked about because he hasn't played. So there's this idea that a 6th-round QB is amazing because there's no proof he isn't. As a Vikings fan, I see that all the time. Max Brosmer is amazing because he hasn't played very much. Like, the amount of time, I can't even think of all the names right now that I've seen, let this person play. He hasn't played yet. We like him out of blah, 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 blah. He's a 5th-round pick. It rarely happens. The only reason I think highly of him is because the amount of people coming out of Pittsburgh and around him, and John Gruden even said, like, a lot of people saying really good things about him. I haven't even watched tape on him, and that should say something. I would try to watch at least 100 prospects, maybe not this year, but every year before that, and I never watched him. So if that says anything, I mean, he wasn't even on my radar. So obviously, if he was really good, we would have heard about him in some kind of capacity. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think. I'm curious on all these topics. Drop comments down below and let me know what you guys think. So let's see here. Let me go here before I get us recapped here. I'm just going to check the stream. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Next section. All right, here's going to be a little fun. We're going to check out the flag football team because you got a lot of NFL players saying that they can play. A lot. And this is what I'm curious about. So, what are the positions in flag football Olympics? And you and I are going to kind of learn together. This is going to be kind of hopefully the fun part of the podcast. Quarterback, passing, center, snapping, receiving, and 3 wide receivers / running backs on offense, along with a rusher, defensive backs and safeties, deep coverage. Okay. So it's 5v5. Okay. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. So you have QB. You have 1 QB. This is going to be my ideal flag football team. Wide receiver / running backs. You need 4. Or wait, no. You have a center. Oh my gosh, I can't type. This is why I'm podcasting. Trying to podcast for a living because I have no other skills. Oh my gosh, you'd think I'd know how to type. Okay. And then from there, rusher. Cornerbacks 2. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. This is my ideal. This would be what I think the best. Oh my gosh. Control B? This is what I get for going to a Mac or going to a PC from a Mac. You're just learning how stupid I am. Okay. Control B. Okay. Defense. There we go, Terrell. Here we go. Okay. So quarterback, I think it has to be Lamar Jackson. It has to be Lamar Jackson. There's no way that it's not. Because here's the thing. You need an amazing passer, but you also need an amazing eluder of the rush. To me, there's no doubt that this needs to be Lamar Jackson. No question at all. I don't care what anybody says. Don't care. Center, remember, this person needs to be able to block and pass catch. I'm going George Kittle. He's the best dual threat tight end in the league. No question. George Kittle. Now we need, we need 3 of these guys. Can't count. Okay. Rusher 1. Sorry. Okay. 3 of these guys. I think you need 2 wide receivers and a running back. That's just me. But you also want a running back that can pass catch. I think you got to go CMC. You got to go Christian McCaffrey. Also, and it's not just because he can catch and run. He can also play quarterback. That's another aspect of it. Trick plays. Now, I think you got to go Jamar Chase, and then you got to go Jay Jettis. I think that is an all-pro level flag football team. They can elude. Justin Jefferson can run routes, separate. He's not the best at eluding the defense right after the catch, but Jamar Chase can definitely do it. CMC's perfect. Now, rusher. This is where it gets tricky because I think you want somebody that you can drop into coverage and do fake blitzes. I don't know if that's a thing. I do not know if that's a thing in flag football. But, excuse me, I'm sick. This is where I got to think. Okay. So edge rushers, because you got to go edge rusher, because you got to have somebody who can kind of go in coverage. I think if we're playing regular football, I'm going Myles Garrett. But if we're playing flag football, I'm going Micah Parsons because he runs a 4-3 and he can rush. He can play linebacker. He can drop into coverage. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where I'm going to lose some people, I feel like. Safety, I want someone who's incredibly versatile. I'm going Nick Emanwari. Play safety, play linebacker. He could blitz. He's 6'4". Absolute animal. We're going Nick Emanwari. Now, corners, I think you got to go Pat Surtain. He's the best corner in the league. I think it's pretty evident, right? And here is where I just need to get some ideas. Cornerbacks in the NFL. Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, Part of me wants to go Christian Gonzalez, but part of me needs speed. Nah, give me Christian Gonzalez. I think he's so underrated. He played so well in the Super Bowl. He's a big corner. I like the big corners. You want a defense that's versatile. I think Christian Gonzalez can cover big guys. Safety, we need more of a free safety. We need more of an Earl Thomas type. Safeties in the NFL. I know I spelled safeties the wrong way. Get away from me. Let's see. Kyle Hamilton's another good one. Okay. Yep. That's it. Because he can play Nick. He can also line up wherever. Bam. That is the best flag football team on the planet Earth. No questions asked. No questions asked. Just as a recap, best flag football team in NFL in the world. Offense, we got Lamar Jackson. Center, we got George Kittle. Wide receiver running backs, we got Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Jay Jettis. Rusher, we got Micah Parsons. Cornerbacks, we got Pat Surtain and Christian Gonzalez. Safeties, we have Nick Emanwari and Kyle Hamilton. We got versatile all over the place. We're running all kinds of plays. We're blitzing all over the place. We're running trick plays. Easily best team. Best team you could ask for. Man, that's fun. That's fun. But let's see what else here. Okay. Well, episode is a little shorter than I wanted it to be. I actually shot for like an hour, believe it or not. But this is my first time doing the structure. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you enjoy it. I'm sure it was a little rushed at first because, I was nervous. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to keep posting TikToks. Follow me on on TikTok, YouTube under Gridiron Architect, Gridiron Architect Football on Twitch. And just respond to the TikToks and the shorts. Hopefully you can be a part of the episode. This is really supposed to be about you guys and reacting to what you have to say. So feel free to keep commenting, and thank you guys so much. God bless you guys and have a great day. Take care.